Hare Krishna everyone, welcome back to the reading of Dialectic Spiritualism, a Vedic view on Western philosophy by His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. So we are continuing the last chapter of the book entitled Carl Jung. Yes, this is Shravanam Diaries podcast. I'm your host, Sulalita Devidasi. Let's continue. Disciple. Jung would say that our understanding of Krishna as the Supreme Father and the cause of all causes is an archetypical understanding shared by all humans. All people have the tendency to understand someone to be their Supreme Father and primal cause, and they will represent him in different ways. The archetype, however, is the same. Srila Prabhupada. Yes, it is exactly the same. Krishna, or God, is the Supreme Father. A father has many sons, and all men are sons of God, born of their father. This is an experience common to everyone at all times. Disciple. Jung believed that because there are so many subconscious factors governing our personality, we must awaken to them. Unless we do so, we are more or less slaves to our subconscious life. The point of psychoanalysis is to reveal as many aspects of our subconscious life as possible and enable us to face them. Srila Prabhupada. That is what we are teaching. We say that presently the soul is in a sleeping state, and we are telling the soul, please wake up, you are not the body, you are not the body. It is possible to awaken the human being, but other living entities cannot be awakened. A tree, for instance, has consciousness, but he is so packed in matter that you cannot raise him to Krishna consciousness. A human being, on the other hand, has developed consciousness, which is manifest in different stages. Lower life forms are more or less in a dream state. Disciple. Whereas Freud was sexually oriented, Jung was more or less spiritually oriented. In his autobiography, Memories, Dreams, Reflections, Jung writes, quote, I find that all my thoughts circle around God like the planets around the sun and are as irresistibly attracted by him. I would feel it to be the grossest sin if I were to put up any resistance to this force. Unquote. Wow, this is very beautiful. It's very beautiful. Jung sees all creatures as parts of God and at the same time unique in themselves. He writes, quote, Man cannot compare himself with any other creature. He is not a monkey, not a cow, not a tree. I am a man. But what is it to be that? Like every other being, I am a splinter of the infinite deity. Unquote. Srila Prabhupada. It is also our philosophy that we are part and parcel of God, just as sparks are part of a fire. Disciple. Jung further writes in his autobiography, quote, It was obedience which brought me grace. one must be utterly abandoned to God. Nothing matters but fulfilling His will. Otherwise, all is folly and meaningless." Unquote. Srila Prabhupada. Very good. Very good. Surrender unto God is real spiritual life. Sarva dharman parityajya. Surrender to God means accepting that which is favorable to God and rejecting that which is unfavorable. The devotee is always convinced that God will give him protection, that God will give him all protection. He remains humble and meek and thinks of himself as a member of God's family. This is real spiritual communism. Communists think, "I am a member of a certain community," but it is a man's duty to think, "I am a member of God's family." God is the Supreme Father. Material nature is the mother, and living entities are all sons of God. There are living entities everywhere, on land and in the air and water. There is no doubt that material nature is the mother, and according to our experience we can understand that a mother cannot produce a child without a father. A father must be there, and the Supreme Father is God. In Krishna consciousness, a person understands that the creation is a spiritual family headed by one spiritual father. Disciple. Concerning God's personality, Jung writes this, quote, "According to Bible, God has a personality and is the ego of the universe, just as I myself am the ego of my psychic and physical being." Srila Prabhupada. Yes. The individual is conscious of his own body, but not of the bodies of others. Besides the individual soul or consciousness in the body, there is the Paramatma, the super soul, the super consciousness present in everyone's heart. This is discussed in the Bhagavad Gita 13.3, where Krishna says, "Kshetragyam chapimam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata, kshetra kshetragyayor jnanam yataj jnanam matam mama." Quote, "You should understand that I am also the knower in all bodies, and to understand this body and its knower is called knowledge. That is my opinion." Unquote. Disciple. Recalling his difficulties in understanding God's personality, Jung writes, quote, "Here I encountered a formidable obstacle. Personality, after all, surely signifies character. Now, character is one thing and not another. That is to say, it involves certain specific attributes. But if God is everything, how can he still possess a distinguishable character? What kind of character or what kind of personality does he have?" Unquote. Oh, he's asking the right questions. If only he had a guru, like Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada. God's character is transcendental, not material, but he has attributes. For instance, he is very kind to his devotee, and this kindness may be considered one of his characteristics or attributes. Whatever qualities or characteristics we have are but minute manifestations of God's. God is the origin of all attributes and characteristics. As indicated in the Shastra, he also has mind, senses, feelings, sense perception, sense gratification, and everything else. Everything is there unlimitedly. And since we are part and parcel of God, we possess his qualities in minute quantities. The original qualities are in God and are manifest minutely in ourselves. According to the Vedas, God is a person, just like us, but his personality is unlimited. Just as my consciousness is limited to this body, and his consciousness is the super consciousness within every body. So I'm a person confined to this particular body, and he is the super person living within all. As Krishna tells Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita 2.12, the personality of God and the personalities of the individual souls are eternally existing. Krishna tells Arjuna on the battlefield, quote, "Never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, nor in the future shall any of us cease to be." Unquote. Both God and the living entity are eternally persons, but God's personality is unlimited and the individual's personality is limited. God has unlimited power, wealth, fame, knowledge, beauty, and renunciation. We have limited, finite power, knowledge, fame, and so on. That is the difference between the two personalities. Jai. So we're going to stop here for today. Yes, it's a long chapter actually. No wonder, actually, Carl Jung was quite realized in one sense. So it's nice. We've been agreeing to his point so far. Jai. So thank you so much for tuning in today. The link to this book is in the description. Please check out our website, shravanamdiaries.com. Read these books along with us, share them with all of your friends, and we shall see you tomorrow. Hare Krishna.